1, and we are lit live.
Gucci!
Stop.
Stop.
You stole it
that's,
from me.
that's how we end, bro.
Bruh.
Didn't you watch the
Alright.
movie?
All right, let's start again. On the
Start
time.
it
You
from the top.
greedy.
Anyway, we are back after like a 2-week hiatus? 3 week? How long has it been?
It's been a minute,
It's been a bit. We've been busy.
you know.
I don't know. We've had just like a bunch of shit pop up. You know, like
We just
you went on
8th grade-
vacation, then we like hung out and shit. We got busy.
Jose,
most
Weird.
hyped up movie of the century is 8th grade so far.
Yeah. I hope you
Pretty
guys
much.
were ready
Yeah.
and excited. But
Yeah, dude. Hype.
yeah. So anyway, we shall reintroduce ourselves. I am Lim Michael.
Zay.
Woo!
That's not your fucking name. Steven.
Jose?
No, Steven. Just said woo.
Oh, I was hyping up him because Nathaniel's next, so I gotta.
But he's not paying attention.
I am
Okay.
Nathaniel.
That was kind of weak. Hey,
guess
I'm
we should-
Steven. Hello.
We
Hi.
should mention we have a missing member. First missing member.
Yep, Bryan, our fallen comrade.
Yeah.
Oh,
fucking-
He's
Died, dude.
He's either at work or sleeping because he's tired from work. So
He's been diagnosed with a dead.
Yeah, I diagnosed him with dead.
yeah, right.
Poor Bryan.
Jose's been diagnosed with small PP, so we're all
Whoa,
crying.
hey!
Anyway, the movie we watched this week was 8th grade. Steven, give us a synopsis.
Like a plot synopsis.
Just tell us when this movie came out.
Hit me with that
So-
Who
plot.
made it?
8th grade is a film that came out in 2018. I think it depicts 2017 though, because it was on the calendar. But that's neither here nor there.
Oh,
Oh
it's
no,
not
it's on the Wikipedia. It is. It's rated R. Which
Really?
yeah, honestly.
Huh.
But apparently, it was filmed in all 50 states, or shown in all 50 states, for free for kids younger than R rating, so that they could watch it and get the message or whatever.
That doesn't make any sense. I guess it's because they said like fucking shit like twice.
There's that, and there's the Truth or Dare scene, which I mean,
Was
you know,
very scary, but
Very.
nothing happened.
I felt-
It was very
Thank
scary.
God.
So much anxiety.
This movie is made by written directed by comedian and funny man Bo Burnham.
Wait, who is that?
He's a comedian, a funny haha man.
Oh,
Burnham.
funny.
Yeah.
He actually
was
had some
also-
very funny shit.
Also, it is independently financed with a small $2 million budget.
Hmm.
It also takes place in New York, which I didn't know that.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
I literally thought it was like California, but whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's about it for the the
Oh.
intro bit. It's a
Who's
movie
that
about
here?
8th grade.
The best year of our lives, obviously.
Yeah, it's about a
mm,
girl named Kayla Day, and we go with her through her last week of 8th grade.
Yeah.
That's what happens. We see her go to the popular girls' party. We watch her go on a high school shadowing thing. Yeah, we see like shit like that. She goes to the mall at one point. That was pretty cool.
That was cool.
And a car.
She
There
was
was
in a car. That was not cool.
Yeah. There was
Unless,
a bad
unless her
scene.
dad was with her. Then
That's what I thought was gonna happen. Was that the window was or the wind? Yeah, no, the window was gonna be bust in, and then he was just gonna like grab the kid.
his dad was gonna drive up.
But before
Yeah.
we get to that, what did everyone think at first? Let's
I
talk
was
about.
gonna. That's a good idea.
The
Because we
start
can
of the
start from
movie.
the top.
Yep, we start with Michael. Michael, what did you think of the film?
I think it's like, it's kind of hard to say that like, I liked it, you know, but it's like also weird to say that because
Yeah.
like, I remember middle school and like, I don't know, like the anxiety that she felt going to the party, like I could fucking feel that. Like this movie was
100%.
like an experience because like, I don't know, you're like remembering what middle school was like for you,
Mhm.
you know, and it's just weird. But like, I did like the movie a lot. I thought it was really good. I think it's good for like a middle schooler to like watch, you know.
Definitely.
I think it'd be good for them to see it. But yeah, it made Jose realize that he's gonna hate his brother for the next 3 years.
Dude, the way the way these kids acted in this movie, I was like, is this how we spoke? Is this how we acted? Did we really like? Did girls in middle school really fear girls like Kennedy who were on their phones and couldn't come up with an original thought in their minds? Like this was the greatest fear of our lives that people had. Come on. And Aiden, this punk kid who wants blowjobs. Like this was my competition in middle school.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
a competition. The agony of this
So,
movie.
how'd you feel about the movie, Jose?
It was an experience, dude.
I mean, I enjoyed it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
I can't, because I know that Michael said that made him remember a lot of middle school, but I don't know if like I can one-to-one.
I can't one-to-one
Yeah.
because I was not like her. Just
Yeah.
because, like 8th grade, my 8th grade year was completely different because that's when I moved here to Virginia, and that's when I met Nathaniel and Tony.
Hello.
And that's where I met like a lot of you guys. Was like 8th grade. So, like my 8th grade year was like great. I loved 8th grade. You know.
I think I enjoyed it 8th grade. It's not
I
not
think
one of the worst.
6th and 7th were way worse than 8th for me.
Yeah, I think 7th was my least favorite.
7th was probably my least favorite too.
That middle arc.
Yeah.
But
Oh.
but even if I like didn't relate to Kayla one-to-one, I think like those feelings of nervousness are like universal.
Yeah.
Gabe, what a great man, Gabe. He really gets it. He really gets it, especially his Rick and Morty bit. He gets it. He gets it. Those are my that's my concluding statement. Is Gabe.
Nice.
Yeah. We'll get to him. Nathaniel.
Oh yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was, and there's a lot of like the camera angles were cool, and there's like it felt real. Dialogue was like real. It was
Yeah.
good
It did
character.
feel very real. I very much
So-
appreciated that.
Yeah, it wasn't like the over the top, like just over the top nonsense. No, it was overall I enjoyed it. I thought it was really cool. A lot of real aspects in life, and personally, we're going to a middle school. My 8th grade was I've been through a lot of sagas in the 8th grade, but it was fun. It was fun.
Wow. I enjoyed the movie a lot. That was really fun. It was really good, especially for like the first movie you make with like not even like a quarter of the budget of like half the movies that come out, and
Yeah.
you just make a banger like that.
Yeah.
That was really cool.
I still feel like it's kind of weird to say that I liked the movie, you know? Because I feel like that's not what's supposed to like come out of it. Like I enjoyed it, but not like the way people enjoy movies normally. You know what I mean? Like this was more of like an experience than like a, like a, like you think you watch this movie different than you watch like a Marvel movie. You know what I mean?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Like
It's not
it's
like
like
a flick.
yeah, it's not like I liked that movie because it was like really cool shit. You know, it's like different. I don't know.
I kind of know what you mean.
Yeah.
It's not like you like the story like was like a normal like Hollywood blockbuster where it's like, oh, that was fun. I had a good time.
Yeah,
It-
yeah,
and, like, came
exactly.
to, like,
That's why I feel like it's kind of weird to say I liked it because it's
Yeah.
like it's not like fun. It's like
Yeah.
very anxiety inducing because you're like remembering it. Because she's very
Yeah.
like very like relatable. It's easy to put yourself in like the boots of Kayla. You know.
It was real. It was like
Yeah,
it was real.
yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, finish your thought. I interrupted you.
No, I was basically done. I thought, I don't know. I just thought it was really cool. I was able to, aside from the part that she was a female and that there was like, those kind of relationships were not those kind of like all of her relationships were different because of that. Like I don't know. I couldn't relate to that, but like I don't know, anxiety. Like fitting in. These were all things that I very much had the same like issue with, and I don't know. It was kind of cool to like I don't know see that in the most like honest like presentation that I've like ever seen. It was really cool, and it was really I don't know. Well, like Nathaniel said, well shot, well made. Um, yeah, I don't know. To me, it's kind of like if Bo was making a movie for kids to be like, hey, like
I felt
stuff.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like you're kind of not like the only one who like, I don't know.
May feel like the outside.
Yeah, yeah, and like that might like go back to like why he like tried so hard to show it to kids was because of like maybe that was like part of his intention was to I don't know de-alienate some of the most alienated people,
Mm-hmm.
which
Mm-hmm.
are
Have
kids.
any of you seen the movie Boyhood?
No, I think
No.
it's on the list though.
Because that's like the next logical step from this movie. Because that one ends with high school graduating, so it'd be
What?
like 12th grade instead of 8th grade.
Yeah. Um. Yeah, I thought it was cool. I got a few things to bring up, but if anybody else has anything, you should take the reign right here. What you got?
Guys, the scene with the gun guy in school, dead.
I,
The
yeah.
school shooter drill.
There are like moments like that of things that are like realistic, but then like taken to like an extreme that I
Yeah.
just love. It was just so like such a perfect like that's not what the movie's about, but it was like a perfect like one-off scene to just be like, hey, so like what's up with this though, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
That was
they
pretty
like made it look ridiculous to show how actually ridiculous this whole situation is
cool. Yeah,
with school shootings and stuff.
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, like the whole movie is like an honest portrayal. So it was kind of weird to like see that because I'm like it's kind of it honestly makes me just like cringe or be uncomfortable a little bit that that's like just an honest normal part maybe of middle school now.
Mhm.
Yeah, like someone could watch this movie and be like, oh, they just do that in their school. Okay,
Yeah,
like they wouldn't see it as like a bit.
yeah, that's just how it is.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not in middle school, and the school we didn't have to deal with that when we were in high school, and we didn't even graduate that long ago.
Yeah,
No.
I mean we had the drills, but like
Not those
I
kind
mean
of drills. Yeah.
Not even that often.
Our
Virginia
drill.
Virginia Tech shooting was like a thing before we were like in school or like I don't even I don't know what year it happened, but it was like
Columbine. Columbine
It
was
was like 2007
Columbine.
or 8.
Yeah, so like people still had like the big fresh memories, but at that point it wasn't like a daily occurrence. It
Yeah.
wasn't like I don't know,
It
so
wasn't like a this could
fresh.
happen at any moment thing.
yeah.
You know.
Yeah, yeah,
Not trying to be harsh, but it was like kind of less frequent back in.
yeah.
Because unfortunately, that's a horrific thing. But our drills are usually you lock the door and you turn the lights off and you go to one end of the classroom. That was
Yeah. Yeah. That's
And
like
then-
all
what
that
we did.
was.
And then someone walks down the hallway. Cause like
Yeah.
I don't know, I don't know. There was something like I don't want to say like naive, but like oh, it could just be a guy walking down the hallway. But
Well, yeah,
like
because
I
we
don't
didn't
know.
even call those. We didn't call those shooter drills. We called those like
Lockdowns.
they
or
were like
something?
lockdowns, but it's because there was like a strange person on the
Like
premises.
intruder?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were called intruder drills.
Yeah, like we never consider that it's like a person who's like in a
Trying to.
class
Yeah, we never.
from within.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like a perv who just like waltzed into the school, or like
Yeah,
someone
yeah.
who's like there to do something else, like not someone who's there to kill as many children as possible.
Yeah.
It's some heavy stuff.
Yeah.
But Steve, what were you gonna say, Steven? What were just some topics you wanted to?
I thought it was really cool how her interactions with her dad were filmed. There were a few that like stuck out to me. Like with her in her room, there was a really like wide angle shot of like her in her bed and then her dad in the doorway.
I
And they're
remember
both lit up by the light behind them, but they were like in the exact like farthest points from each other where they could not possibly squeeze any more distance between them.
that. Hmm.
And then at the point where she's at the mall with her high school friends that she's made, and then her dad like is like watching them because he's like concerned but also like proud but also like I don't know wants to like see for himself.
Hmm.
And then her friends notice and then she goes and talks to him. She's like in the photo booth, but it's not they're not in the same shot like they were before. It's I don't remember what they're called. It's a shot reverse shot kind of where it's like they're not even like connected in the frame like they used to be. Which like even like a strained relationship has become even more strained. Like I don't know visually, but I thought that was those were some neat things. With
Nice.
the way that the camera panned to the bananas, that was really cool. That was
Yeah.
fun. Oh, there was something I was reading I was not reading the Wikipedia page for this, so don't even assume that of me. But they talked about or Bo Burnham talked about how actually it might have been a critic, but they talked about how like this movie tackles like how awful sex education is in our
Hmm.
schools because like I think that's like one of the first scenes is her like in sex ed class. It's like, all right, we're gonna talk about hair down there,
Yeah.
and then it like
It's gonna be lit.
Yeah, and like
Yeah.
that's like what they talk about. But then later on, she like has a scene with a boy where he asks her to do something, and she has no idea what to do because the school has not prepared her in any way for this.
Yeah.
Whereas like she should know about what consent is and like like what she doesn't have to do at all when she's in those situations.
Yeah.
Our schools are low key like so fucking like prude and reserved.
Yeah,
Like
100%.
we'll have a drill about a school shooter, but don't bring up the dick, please. That's
Consent, yeah, or
too much.
contraceptives. Can't know what those are. Abstinence
Yeah,
only
yeah.
education. All that. They don't even
That's
talk
too
about
many details.
gay sex. It's just like there is one kind of sex and it is straight heterosexual sex, and we're gonna barely go into it. Anyway,
What is a condom?
exactly. We did so like some schools did that where they put it on a banana. We didn't do that.
Can't remember.
We did not in our school,
Wait, what
or
are
at
you
least I
talking
did.
about?
Some schools put a condom on a banana during sex ed so that
Oh.
kids at least know how to do that. Our school did not. Our school taught me abstinence only education.
Bro, I've never even
Yeah.
heard of a condom, so I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like you
I've
should have
like
at least.
I've actually like barely even seen one in real life. You
Mhm.
know, like I've seen
Yeah.
them like twice.
Yeah, you should like I don't know, have seen that in your life. Like the school should have prepared you for that.
Yeah.
Not like I don't know, told you like theoretically like this is a way that you can like
I think like the first time I like got a condom was they were just giving it out in like some public place related to something. And then
Yeah.
at home I'll just open it up and I'm like, oh, and it's like that's how I figure it out. Just
Or
out in public, someone just threw out some condoms for free or
yeah.
something.
Or like God forbid it's like your first time and that's like when you have to like learn how to do all that. Like that
Mm.
sucks.
That's how you fuck it up.
I mean, yeah, and that's really bad to do to like
You
mess
put it
that
on
up.
your ear, right?
Yeah.
All
But
right, so I
no.
step into this. And it becomes a giant pair of pants.
That's why there's magnums for your feet. Like no.
Oh, what was I saying? It was
Bananas?
You're talking about the sex ed issue.
Sex ed?
yeah, it was. They also talked about how it was it was like a situation where she had to trade, like her body and like sex for like social like
Cred.
capital. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like oh, like I might be cool if I take off my shirt for this guy because he's in high school, or like oh, like I'll have a boyfriend if I give a blowjob. Like that's just like a situation that like a girl just has to be in like in our world,
Mm-hmm.
which sucks. But it was cool to see that that wasn't like I don't know, that was a thing that was addressed and it wasn't just like oh she's just awkward and like that's all that school is.
Yeah.
I thought that it was cool that they delved into harsher topics, even though it changed the tone of the film. I think it did it in a good way, in a way that was important to like show people.
Yeah. I was gonna say, because
But
literally the only thing I remember from sex ed is that we had to watch this video. I remember two things.
Mhm.
My teacher had a like plastic enlarged model of a vagina, and she called it Bertha.
Oh God!
Yeah.
Don't come on, teach.
And then
Don't do
the
this.
other one was we watched a video, and I just remember it was like the section where it was like kids asking questions, and then some dude would answer it, right?
Mhm.
And I just remember this kid was like, "Why is my penis smaller than all the other kids?" And I was like,
No, God.
first of all, how do you know that? Second of all,
Dude.
why are you
No.
asking someone?
No.
And like, I remember the
Keep that
dude
tight.
answering, and he was just like, "Penises are just different shapes and sizes, kid. You're fucked. Sorry, you weren't blessed." You know, like basically, like you weren't
Natural
blessed.
selection happened.
Natural selection.
I remember saw one about wet dreams, and it was the video.
I remember that. That was
Yeah,
fucking
like
weird.
every night the kid would take his blankets and go downstairs to the point. I think it was his older brother who would just
Yeah,
like
yeah.
time. I'm like, what are you, a Pokemon trainer? Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I remember that. I saw that same video. That was fucking weird. I don't know. Sex ed is like the worst shit ever. Like it's supposed to be because like it's awkward to talk about, but
Mhm.
like in like school it's awkward to talk about, and then nothing comes from it because you don't get anything from it.
It's not even worth it. Like it would be
Yeah.
different if it's like, okay, we got to talk about this, but it's like actually going to help you in your life.
Yeah, like it's
Like
important.
we're
It's
gonna
like
actually set you up for success. It's like
yeah.
no, we're gonna tell you like absolutely nothing of how to deal with any of these problems.
Yeah.
Just don't have these problems, idiot. It's
Yeah.
like, okay,
Because
thanks.
like in school, they're like, yeah, you're gonna get hair in a bunch of different places, and then they'll like tell you like a bunch of other shit that has to do with the hair, and it's like honestly, just tell me that's gonna happen, and I'll be expecting it. You know, like I don't
Mm.
need you to tell me more shit like why I get hair. I don't fucking care. Just tell me what
Mm.
to do with that hair. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Because your body's
Yeah.
changing.
Yeah, it's like no
growing.
fucking shit. I can tell.
So
You know,
rule.
it's
I'm
like,
trying to
but
make
tell
you
me something
embarrassed.
useful. Yeah, like it
Yeah.
honestly feels like they're just trying to like embarrass you.
I think part of the like worst thing about that is that especially with our generation and maybe the generation before us, I guess, a little, they like when you don't get that kind of information from the internet, people used to get it from like their peers, which like is dangerous and bad. But then like with our generation, there was another avenue that opened up, which was the internet, which is also a very bad place to get this information. Like, I guess from certain like channels, it might be accurate, like I don't know, like if you looked at like the CDC or something like that. But what kid's gonna do that? You know what I mean? Like kids are gonna get it from like some like Tumblr blog that's like probably not where you should get your information like that, or
Yeah.
like Twitter, and it's not. I don't know.
Or they'll go on YouTube like fucking Kayla did.
Yeah,
You know?
and that sucks. That
Because
just
like they
sucks
got,
that that has to
because they got
happen.
questions, and like it's weird to ask your parents. You know?
It is.
Like that's just
It
not
really
gonna
is.
happen.
Yeah.
These
That's
are the
just
people
not.
turn to on YouTube.
Yeah.
So you got.
Yeah. Like it's just because like you don't actually have to like talk to them on YouTube. You know? They can't
Yeah.
like look at you
No,
and like
the
make you feel
information is one way.
embarrassed. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so like obviously like it's better to get it from your parent because like you trust them, but like you're not gonna fucking do that. You're too embarrassed.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so school needs to like tell you that shit, but like they don't.
Yeah. You know, I really don't think I ever had a. The only thing that I've ever had where there's something that talked about consent was like children against like predators and to tell them to just go away. That was about the extent of my like
Yeah, I think
it's
me
your
too.
body and you need to have control over it and like it's okay to tell people what you're not comfortable with and like they shouldn't push you beyond that. Or like that's like a start. That's not even like the whole conversation. That's like
Yeah. Like obviously,
I didn't even have that.
yeah, like I like obviously like I knew consent was like a thing and I knew it was important, but like I wasn't
Right.
like told about it really until like
Mhm.
high school when remember during gym class we had like that lady come in and talk to us about like domestic abuse.
Oh.
Like that's where like I was actually told about it,
Mm.
you know? Like
Oh
by
wait,
the school.
That 1 week of
I
sex
just
that
That
we
I
had.
don't remember her, but
it
maybe.
was
Yeah.
like
not to interrupt.
freshman year
Go
of
ahead.
Not
high school.
not to interrupt, but do we have to watch that movie about the domestic abuse?
Yeah,
I
we
don't
had to
remember
watch
that.
that.
That movie was something
I
else,
don't
dude.
remember the movie very well, but I remember the lady coming in talking about it because she was like actually a victim of domestic abuse.
Yeah,
Hmm.
And so I
I
remember
was
her coming in talking about that, and she told us about consent. But like
I
sex
don't
ed
remember that.
didn't tell you about consent.
I do remember that.
Yeah, that
Hmm.
happened our freshman year. I think like everyone had to do it too.
It was
Huh.
in the, like the not the aux gym, but like when you go down the hallway, it was like beside the library, like or outside the computer room. It
Yeah,
was
you know how like the hall was split into two, and then there was that whole middle section that had like classrooms, and it was like a big like auditorium in there. It's where we took our senior photos. We took them in that room.
yeah,
I don't remember what you're talking about.
It doesn't matter.
it's
Okay.
But to go back real fast, like the beginning when Kayla got out of the car, like that like camera shot, like following her, like the coloring in this movie made it even more real. It wasn't like
Mhm.
bright color. It was like no, it's realistic. Like it felt that's another aspect I like about the camera usage and work.
Yeah. Like when she's like storming up the stairs after the truth or dare scene, and like the camera's shaking behind her, and then she slams it, and then the door opens, and you can tell that she hit a whole bunch of stuff.
And yeah, it's
and the door
deafened.
fell. Yeah, and then there's like no sound. It's just like it's like visceral, like you're there, you're just
Yeah.
feeling it. Like they don't even have to say what's happening. You just understand.
And can I
That,
also add?
that's cool.
Sorry to interrupt,
No, you're good. Go ahead.
but I want to add like this about the banana scene.
Hmm.
I like how she's like because the whole scene the dad's like you got a banana in your hand. And she's like, yeah, I got a little hungry. And the whole scene, you're like, okay, it doesn't get worse. It can't get worse. He's just going to eat the banana. But then the dad's like, I thought you don't like bananas. And you're like, oh, God. Like,
He's like, yeah, I specifically remember this. And it's like,
She's
I
like,
wrote it
yeah,
down
I actually
paralyzed.
wrote it in my note. You know? Bro, I just imagine like that noise playing every time he said something. It was great.
Dude, if it was gonna turn out like that, she might as well have thrown the banana like she threw the cell phone. But like as he was walking in, just throw the fucking banana. It's like eliminate the evidence.
He's like, yeah, I keep forgetting that you don't like bananas, so I wrote it down. He's like,
And shout out to the dad, dude.
Honestly,
he was great.
that scene in front of the fire made me so happy. That was just
Dude, yeah.
really cool.
I like that scene a lot.
It was cool to see like them have like I don't know, they had like massive communication problems where like he would like try and she was like, nah, I'm like in middle school, I don't want to talk to you.
Yeah.
And then like she like opened up to him and then he was there and that was really sweet.
Yeah.
It's interesting that the movie never like addresses the fact that like a single dad.
Yeah, they don't like dwell on that like at all.
No,
That,
he
like,
like mentioned it like one time, yeah.
Yeah, he mentioned it like at the fire scene.
Yeah.
He's just like when your mom left, and then he like talks about like and like you notice that like mom's never there and shit. Actually, because of like the dim, like I mentioned that again. I fucking hated that there were like no fucking lights in that house.
Damn, this
And
man was
like,
bothered.
and well, I know why they did it, and that's why I hated it.
Yeah.
Cause like it was like depressing.
Hmm.
And I was like, bro, just like in my own house, I can't like walk around and like, or like in my
That's so
house, like
funny because
in
I
my
always
house,
have
I
like
need
no
lights.
lights on.
I need lights on in my house, dude.
I have like no lights
Like
on
I don't
in the
like
basement at
being
all.
in a house that's unlit because I find it depressing. You know, like
Mhm.
I need lights on in a house, and so in that I was like I would hate to be in that house because there's like no lights. Like it's
Mhm.
so dark in that house. There's like 3 lights on, and those lights don't even give enough light.
But it's
Yeah.
it's nighttime. It's sleepy time.
Like when the first scene you see in the house, they're like eating a meal at dinner, and I was like, bro, I can't even see that dad's dinner, bro. I can barely see that shit. And I was like, it was really smart because it showed that like what it's like to be like in middle school, because it's kind of like a depressing time because you don't know what the fuck is going on. Everyone has like hella anxiety and shit, So like it was really smart, and I hated it because of that.
Would it be bad to say that there's like predictable moments throughout the film? Like not trying to be negative, but like I knew the dad was gonna talk to her.
No,
Cause
yeah,
I'm like,
for sure.
that's usually like every film. The dad's always like, okay, and then the dad does his giant speech. They love each other, and then it's like it resolves. And like when you first meet Gabe, I'm like, oh, her and Gabe's gonna be like best friends, or like they're possibly gonna date. It's like that's like that part of the movie. But I still enjoyed it. I just thought that some of those parts, I was like, I can see where it's going from there.
I didn't find the movie unpredictable in like any way. I knew what was gonna happen in like every scene I saw.
Yeah.
I don't think that's like a detriment though.
No, I don't think its purpose was to surprise you. I think it's
Yeah.
just to make you feel what it was presenting,
Yeah.
which it does.
Correct.
Because it was an experience. Because I was watching, I was like, they're gonna do the whole dad thing where the dad takes a seat and they're gonna have like that beautiful moment.
Yeah.
Which I love thoroughly. I love seeing the dad and her have that beautiful.
Yeah, 100%.
What about that cafeteria scene in the mall?
What about it?
I thought it was
How do you feel about that interaction?
I thought it was
with the
interesting.
gang?
Yeah, like showing like I don't know, like she like tries to like make friends with like the older kids because like they're like the only ones who have like accepted her. But then like it's like quick to realize like she like doesn't she's not really like one of them. Like not in like a bad way, just like the things that they talk about, the way that they talk, she just doesn't do that.
Yeah,
And that's like
that's
that's
like
not her
what
fault.
that's like what hit me is that it actually wouldn't have mattered how nice Olivia was to Kayla. It
Mhm.
wouldn't have mattered because Kayla like hadn't learned how to speak senior in high school.
Yeah.
She couldn't communicate like in that language, like the way that we interact with each other. If you threw like a middle schooler onto this call, they wouldn't be able to talk even if you or connect, no matter like how nice we were.
No, yeah,
'Cause
it's
you're
just how
not.
that works.
We're just too different. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you're not like at this stage yet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it's like a
you know what?
different kind of like I don't know. I don't mean to like say that it's deeper than it really is, but like there's like a language gap where like we speak just a totally
There is,
different
yeah.
language than them, like casually that they like,
Yeah.
you know? I don't know.
And it's
I
like
was-
those friends of Olivia, those guy friends, weren't good.
No.
So you add that together, and it's like poor Kayla.
Yeah.
Gonna hang in there. Pure anxiety.
Yeah.
Yeah, cause like when you're like older, when you're like an adult, like 4 years isn't that big a gap. But like
Mhm.
when you're still in school, it very much is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
I feel like another like point of reference is like whenever you're like young in middle school or below, and you're forced to like interact with like your parents' friends, and they're like, "Oh, how are you
Oh,
doing in middle school
that
or high
is
school?"
that's still the
Oh.
worst, bro.
That's like a
Yep.
point of reference that still happens with us. Is that even though they're nice and we're like older or we think we're like getting better, just that age gap, it'll always sort of like trip you up because you're like
Yeah.
in different stages, different
Yeah.
language gaps and all that.
I mean, that's
Ugh.
like even with her and her dad, like the person who loves her most in the world, like they just can't communicate like the same way, and that's like I don't know. That's like to a certain extent, that's like how it is. But there's also the fact that like with her generation and like their like interaction with their cell phone and social media, there's an even bigger disconnect, which like
Yeah.
strains it even
and,
worse.
and it's like on her social media and stuff, everyone is not as nice as like the people she has in like her real life, like her
Mhm.
dad. Everyone online's like, "Hey, can you send me nudes? And then I'll be your boyfriend." And then you have social clout.
Yeah.
And
Um. Bo Burnham said that he decided his protagonist would be female after watching YouTube and saying the boys talk about Minecraft and the girls talk about their souls. Probably half because girls are actually just maturing more quickly, and half
oh my
because
gosh,
culture asks way deeper questions of young women earlier than men, which I thought
Minecraft.
was interesting.
No, interesting.
That's
Yeah.
accurate. I was watching fucking video game let's plays on YouTube in
I was
middle
gonna
school.
say
Yep.
I
Talking
was
about Minecraft.
actually watching. I was watching Minecraft at that age.
Yep.
I was watching Pokemon, but yeah, it's like that's what the guys are doing in middle school.
Yeah.
Yep.
Fucking
Literally.
around.
You know
Never
what's
mind.
crazy? It has been 10 years and kids are still playing Minecraft in middle school. Honestly, nothing's changed. They just do
Yeah,
Fortnite
Middle
dances
school
now.
will never change.
Minecraft won't fall, dude. I don't think that's ever gonna fall.
Yeah. You were saying something? Sorry.
I mean, now it's
No,
like Fortnite, but
that reminded me of that like meme that it's like the girls' locker room versus the boys' locker room. Like,
Yeah, honestly.
accurate.
He also wanted to make it a girl so that or the protagonist a girl because he didn't want to project like his own like memories necessarily onto
Mm.
like the protagonist.
Uh.
Yeah.
Have you
Well,
checked
like
the movie's Wikipedia yet? That's like a section we gotta do.
oh no, me read from the Wikipedia page?
That's what he's
No,
Never.
no,
doing
you're not
now.
doing that.
That's what I'm
Oh,
doing.
that's
That's what I'm doing right
That's
now.
what he's doing right now, bro.
Also, does anyone have anything right now? Because I got a whole thing I'm about to go into.
Oh my god.
50 teenagers auditioned for the role of Kayla, and Elsie Fisher literally didn't even audition. He found her on YouTube and he made her audition 3 times because he wanted her in the movie so bad.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Did she do
Um.
videos like that on YouTube? How did he find her?
I'll be right back.
Okay.
Explain yourself.
Oh, oh, oh. I need answers.
Yeah.
Oh.
Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, dude. Yeah. that's-
Working on it.
Yeah,
Oh
okay.
my God, she was in Despicable Me. Okay, sorry.
Was she?
She had to have
Yes.
been the kid. Has to have been the kid.
Oh, she was a child actor, and then
Oh, she was Agnes in the
oh,
first two Despicable Me movies. That's the youngest one.
that she was.
I
That's
knew it.
Oh, she's also in the new Adams Family as Parker Needle, which I don't know who that is.
She was in a TV series called Medium, apparently.
Well,
Uh, um.
yes.
Also, she got a Golden Globe Award nomination for Best
Whoa.
Actress, which she deserved. This was really good,
I am back.
especially welcome back, especially for someone her age. She was actually like it says here that she was literally like about to graduate 8th grade like at the time of filming.
Oh, wow.
So, Yeah,
Oh, that's,
so it
that's
was
awesome.
like accurate. Yeah, because a lot of movies like here are the high school kids and they're like 26. Like
Yeah.
like Michael J. Fox was like 23 when he filmed Back to the Future.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You could tell.
He
Yeah,
was too cool.
that's just the way that I don't know movies are. But this one
Yeah,
wasn't.
like in The
Which
Breakfast Club, Bender, there's no fucking way that he was a high schooler. He did not look like it at
It's
all.
kind of crazy how like Breakfast Club and like Back to the Future is like what I imagined high school to be.
Yeah, but instead it's like 8th grade.
Yeah, it's like why didn't I get shown this movie so I actually had my expectations
Yeah.
actually set appropriately.
he said that he wanted to cast her because she was the only one who felt like a shy kid pretending to be confident, while everyone else felt like a confident kid pretending to be shy.
Ah, interesting.
I don't know.
Huh.
I feel like every decision during this movie was made to be as authentic as possible,
Mhm.
and it really shows, and adds to why we all felt like it was that.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah, great
Apparently
movie.
she has
I
like
don't
a
know.
blog and shit too.
Oh, nice. Oh, she's hilarious on Twitter, dude. It's very funny.
Nice.
Um, I don't know if I'd call it movie of the year. I don't know what movies came out in 2018. Was that Moonlight?
Huh.
I think that was.
No, that
I
was
think that was.
2017.
Oh, right. Hold on.
Gotta. I feel like if Roma came out that year, I'm gonna kill you.
Ready
Whoa.
Player
That's
One,
why he said don't know.
Venom, The Meg.
The Meg came.
Haha.
Speaking of
Oh,
Ready Player 2, the sequel to Ready Player 1. I don't know if it's called Ready Player 2, but they're making a novel sequel of Ready
I
Player
did hear about that.
The Green Book was the film of the year.
2. Oh,
Yeah, Roma was a nominee that year, so go away.
No, you're
Wait,
right.
Infinity War came out that year.
Roma was better.
I can't. You triggered me again.
No, you're
Roma
right.
was different.
Roma was different. I think this movie was really. I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't have to be the best movie of the year to be like important. You know, like
Yeah,
100%.
I really hope that every child in middle school sees this movie at least once, because I like we were talking about like sex ed. Like this is literally like that, but also so much more. Like I feel like it's an important movie to see for a young person, just to like I don't know, show them all these things. And
Yeah,
then like
I mean, I like I'd call this most important movie of the year.
sure, that's fair. Yeah,
I think that's
as
an award
still
that should
wouldn't say that,
happen.
but
as good as
Yeah.
Roma is, I don't
I
know if
don't
it's like
even
a.
know what Roma is.
But
It's
Infinity War.
incredible.
I still would say Black Panther is like a more important movie that year.
Wow.
Wait, did Black Panther come out that year?
I prefer not to like start comparing. So
You know what? You're right.
You're
It was
also
a great movie, and it was important. Is enough,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah,
That
like yeah,
scene,
like Bo Burnham did fantastic.
definitely.
the
That scene,
scene
Nathaniel?
with the car
Yeah.
and her being driven home.
Scary stuff, dude.
Jose said this is worse than a horror movie, and that just made me think, like, man, like, and this is real. Like that stuff, it's scary stuff.
Honestly.
And the whole scene was really played out really good. You know?
Yeah. I really like the way that if you were a young person watching this, or a person, you know, who has kids, or even just a person in general, like after this movie, if you hadn't already had those thoughts in your head, like, oh, I probably shouldn't leave her alone with a boy, or like, you should be like apprehensive of that, like, or you know, anyone or whatever. Like, I think that that's an important thing to put in people's minds. Like, just because you feel safe because you're around friends doesn't mean that you necessarily are. Like, I don't know, don't like never do anything because you're afraid, but like always be cautious and like, you know, heed on the side of caution. Like, I don't know, don't leave your young friend alone with your male friend just because
Yeah.
you feel like you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can see she was like apprehensive too. Like Olivia like didn't like want to,
Yeah.
but like she did.
Yeah. And Kayla was just so young and naive that she just didn't know.
Yeah.
Like like why would you ever think like that if you hadn't had this happen to you before?
Yeah.
But
And you
that's
like
just
don't
like,
know people that it's like happened to.
yeah,
You know?
yeah, 100%. But
I don't know
that's
that,
just where we live.
and I don't know if that was a purposeful thing, but just the shot of, like, you see Caleb, but you don't see the guy. Like, he's casted in shadow
Hmm.
when he's like talking to her. And I don't know if that was purposeful, but I was like, man, that's like an interesting way of, like, you know, using the camera.
Yeah, I see what you mean. 100%. That whole scene is in like a dimly lit car, and the only lights are like outside.
And
I know
he's
you're
like
like hidden.
darkness.
Yeah. Yeah. That was powerful and scary.
And not trying to brag,
Go ahead.
but when they were showing the awards in 8th grade,
Mhm.
don't want to brag, but I got a plaque.
Okay.
I'm glad
was
you peaked in middle school.
Yeah, nice, buddy.
You talking about peak in middle school, dog? I never stopped peaking, dude. I'm keep on. I
Never
peaked-
stop peaking.
I'm at the tippity top of the mountain, but I'm only halfway up. Think
That's a
about
Doc
it.
quote, isn't it?
Did,
I'm
did, they
like,
ever, did they ever figure out
He is no longer at the tippity top of the mountain.
before we go on this giant? Yeah, yeah.
Sorry.
But it's interesting stuff. It was a good movie. I enjoyed it.
I
Yeah,
very much enjoyed it.
I'm really glad that we watched that. I don't know. Movies don't have to be like
It was worth the wait.
Oh yeah, definitely. I don't know. Movies don't have to be like the greatest like I don't know, like masterpiece of our generation to be enjoyable.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like I wasn't as excited for this one as I was like Uncut Gems or The Lighthouse because those were hyped because those were like people have said those things about those.
Yeah.
But you know, this was really cool and I liked it a lot and I'm glad it was picked randomly.
yeah, shout out to that.
Indeed.
But
I just-
I
Oh
think
my
we,
gosh, we need to do that. Actually no, we don't. Next week's your birthday, so never mind.
Oh yeah, it is my birthday. So I
Oh.
get to pick L movie.
damn,
I
I
just
don't get to be like, it's time for the spin. And then you just pick.
I mean, we
Uh,
can
we
still
can-
spin for fun if you want. We're not
no.
going to.
Yeah, because then we'll have like 2 weeks of hype, and that might be too much.
I have
That
one
is-
more.
Go
I
ahead.
have one more topic about the movie, and I just realized it.
Mhm.
Okay, think about it.
I'm thinking.
824 was
Yeah.
part of the film, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All I gotta say is maybe her uncle or maybe distant family, but somewhere in New York, a distant family member is betting on her to graduate 8th grade. He owns a pawn shop.
150,000 on Kayla.
On Kayla, she's gonna do it. She's gonna stand up for herself, and he won
Well,
the
that
money.
would have been one bet he actually fucking won.
He won. What do you mean?
Yeah, he did win. He won.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, I think. Do we have any remaining thoughts?
Someone commented that the electronic score, like the electronic music score, was unexpected but effective, and I think that that's pretty
Oh yeah.
I agree.
accurate. Especially, I
Yeah,
don't
that's
know, when I was in middle school, I listened to electronic music. It was very there. Oh, and she also like there was also like pop music that she was listening to. I thought that
Mhm.
both of those were pretty accurate to the time, but also effective in getting across the feelings that they wanted to. But yeah. Also, this movie was the sixth highest grossing independent domestic film of the summer.
Hell yeah.
Whoop,
So, yeah.
whoop.
Yeah, I'm glad we
So
got around to watching
better
it.
than Roma, is
No.
what you're telling
Oh,
me.
why are you coming at me? Also, Roma came out in December. What's wrong with you?
Oh my goodness.
That's what I'm saying.
And not an indie film.
Oh my God, Jose, do I pick Roma for the movie?
Mm.
Oh,
I don't know.
all right.
Take
This
what
is.
you want, man.
I was gonna ask if you knew what movie you're gonna choose. I guess the answer is no.
I don't. I have like ideas, but I don't. We'll see.
Mm.
We'll see
you
about it.
want to have fun with this, huh?
It's going to be a good movie and probably one that I like have seen. We'll see. We'll see about it.
Okay. I'm
But
excited.
we'll see you next week for mystery movie, I guess. Everybody. Thanks
Dong,
for joining.
dong, dong.
Gracias, people.
Ah,
Gucci.
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 Gucci.